The government shutdown is officially over. Yesterday, November 12th, President Trump officially signed into agreement that the government shutdown is finally ending. 42 days, marking the longest government shutdown in history. And as we've talked about, we are glad that the shutdown is over because now we can get back to normal data report releases, right? From the mortgage perspective, we've talked about it week in and week out. We saw USDA loans, frustrating, couldn't be able to close those, some flood insurance. But the real issue is the market, right? The market reacts heavily to data, jobs data, labor data, inflation data, but none of those data reports are being released. It has been over 2 months since we've got an accurate jobs or CPI inflation report. So we'll finally start to get those. We know it was just released. Normally, inflation would actually be released tomorrow. I don't think inflation is going to be released tomorrow. I just don't think there's enough time. I think, Trump and the team actually came out and said they don't even think they're going to be releasing these missing months in the upcoming weeks. So we're really going to be looking more out towards 2 weeks from now. Once they get all back in, once they start getting that data, then we'll start to get those releases. And then the market will start to move. Remember, market's going to move on 2 major things: inflation and labor. Inflation has been ticking up since Liberation Day. We've talked about that. Trueflation had inflation around 1.4%. It has risen all the way up to 2.55% over the course of the past 7 months. And of course, the headlines there, and it is because of tariffs, right? Obviously, there are some pros to tariffs if the tariff revenue is actually generating hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars of extra revenue. That is a major positive. Obviously, the inflation, truth is, we just don't know, right? We haven't got inflation reports in over 2 months. We're gonna, let this all settle out over the course of the next few weeks. But the big data report, the data report that will move markets the most, is labor. And we saw labor really starting to weaken right around August. And it's not overly weakened. Again, I don't want to be dramatic. I don't want to talk about how, hey, the labor market and our, economy is breaking. It's not. It is not. Let me repeat that. It is not. But we are seeing a gradual slowdown, and that gradual slowdown has been in pace for probably about 12 to 16 months. So each month, gradually slowing down more and more. Eventually, it adds up, and we're seeing that in the new construction front, right? So we're very interested to see if labor is continuing to slow down. Then, just to touch on a lot of the mini headlines that came out this week: 50-year mortgages. Obviously, my opinion, bad idea. Don't see it happening. There's going to be a spread between a 30 and 50-year mortgage, either 0.5%, right? It's just not going to make it more affordable. Of course, you can play devil's advocate. If you can save an extra $100, $200 a month, maybe it'd be worth it. Yes, maybe. I don't see it happening. Also, there's a lot of back end. You need to get bids on 50-year mortgages, right? That's currently a big thing. Remember, we auction off our treasuries. And 10-year obviously is the reason why 10 years up, is we need to have the high premium on that because we need people to want to buy 10-year treasuries. Not a lot of people are going to want to buy these higher treasuries. Who is going to want to buy, and what's the premium on that for 50-year treasuries? So again, I just don't really see that happening. Another one that came out, portable mortgages, where your interest rate is maybe 3.375 today, 2.875 that you got in 2020. Can you then port that and buy a new mortgage and then transfer that interest rate? Again, that is applicable for some taxes here in California. We know property taxes can be transitioned. I think if you're over the age of 55, I don't see this happening either. I don't see how portable mortgages becomes a thing. These are just headlines. Don't get me wrong. They're great social media points, right? Lots and lots of talking points, lots of optimism to kind of get the market in. But my predictions, don't see either of these happening in the near future. Really don't see any of them happening just in the future in general, right? A lot of things have to change for those actually to come to fruition. So just my opinions on that. Lots of other data out there, but we are looking forward to finally getting our labor and inflation data back to us on a regular market. So if you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out.